making English easy for everyone.
Speak English with Jay and May.
Hey, English learners! Welcome back to Speak English with Jay and May, your cozy little place to build your English confidence. I'm May.
Hello, May, and hello, everyone. I'm Jay. How are you today, May?
I'm doing really well, Jay. Actually, I just got back from a long walk, and guess what I was doing the whole time?
Listening to music?
Nope. I was practicing my English listening. Just me, my earphones, and a podcast, completely alone.
Wait, seriously? You can practice English even when you're totally alone?
100%. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. How to practice English listening when you're alone.
Oh, I love this topic because honestly, May, I always think I need a native speaker friend to practice with, but I don't always have one around.
Jay, that is the number one excuse I hear from learners. I have no one to practice with. But here's the thing. Your ears don't need another person. They just need good input.
Good input? You mean like good listening material?
Exactly. Good content going into your ears again and again. Your brain is like a sponge, Jay. It absorbs what you give it.
Okay. So where do we even start? Because honestly, May, I sit down to listen to English and after 5 minutes, I zone out.
Oh, Jay, that is so relatable. You know, I had a student, let's call her Mia. She told me she listened to an English podcast every single day for 2 months.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Wait, here's the interesting part. After 2 months, she felt like she learned nothing, zero improvement. She was so frustrated.
Really? 2 months and nothing?
Nothing. And do you know why?
Because the podcast was too hard?
That was part of it, but the real problem, she was listening passively, just letting the sounds go in one ear and out the other.
Oh, so just pressing play isn't enough?
Not even close. There's a huge difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is just sounds reaching your ears. Listening is your brain actively working to understand.
Whoa, I never thought about it that way. So what did Mina do wrong exactly?
She was treating English like background music. Nice to have, but not really paying attention. You know how you play music while cooking? You hear it, but you don't really listen to every word.
Oh no, I do that with English podcasts too sometimes.
Most learners do, and it feels productive because you're doing something, but your brain isn't actually working hard enough to improve.
So what should we do instead? How do we make listening actually work?
Okay, so I'm going to share some practical methods, real things you can do alone, at home, on the bus, anywhere. And the first one is something I call the repeat method.
The repeat method? You mean like listening to the same thing twice?
More than twice, Jay. You pick a short audio, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and you listen to it multiple times. First time, just for the general meaning. Second time, try to catch specific words. Third time, listen and repeat what you hear out loud.
Out loud? Even when I'm alone?
Especially when you're alone. No one's judging you. You can sound silly, you can be wrong, it's totally fine. This is your safe practice space.
I like that. My room becomes my English gym.
Yes, exactly. Your English gym. And the best part about repeating the same audio, you start noticing things you missed before.
Like what kind of things?
Small words, connecting sounds, the natural rhythm of English. You know, in fast English, people don't say going to clearly. They say gonna. They don't say want to, they say wanna.
Oh, I always wondered why I couldn't catch those words in movies.
Because nobody taught you that English in real life sounds different from English in textbooks. This is where things change for most learners, when they start training their ears for real spoken English.
Okay, so the first method is the repeat method. What's the second one?
The second one is shadowing, and this one is powerful, Jay. I mean, seriously powerful.
Shadowing. You mean like copying a shadow?
Kind of, yes. You listen to a native speaker and you try to copy them. Their words, their speed, their tone, even their emotion, like a shadow following every move.
So I listen and speak at the same time?
At first, you listen, pause, then copy. Then, as you get better, you try to say it almost at the same time as the speaker. It feels weird at first. Very weird.
I can imagine, like trying to dance and count steps at the same time.
Perfect analogy, Jay. Exactly like that. Awkward at first, but once your body, or in this case, your mouth and ears, gets used to it, it becomes natural.
So shadowing helps with listening and speaking?
Yes, it's like a 2-for-1 deal. Your ears get sharper and your mouth gets more comfortable with English sounds. I honestly think shadowing is one of the most underused tools by English learners.
Why don't more people know about this?
Because it feels uncomfortable. Most people stop when it gets hard, but that discomfort, that's your brain growing.
Okay, I'm going to try shadowing today. What's the third method?
The third one is something fun, using TV shows and movies, but in a smart way, not just watching for entertainment.
Oh, I watch a lot of Netflix. Does that count?
It counts only if you're doing it intentionally. There's a big difference between watching for fun and watching to learn.
So what's the smart way to watch?
Okay, imagine this. You watch a scene, then you turn off the subtitles and watch again. Try to understand without reading. Then compare. What did you catch? What did you miss?
Oh, that sounds challenging, but also kind of like a game.
Exactly. Make it a game. You won't believe what happens after a few weeks of doing this. Your ears start to catch so much more.
You mean like real improvement, not just feeling like you're improving?
Real, measurable improvement. Scenes you couldn't understand before suddenly become clear. It's one of the most satisfying feelings in language learning.
Okay, so we have the repeat method, shadowing, and smart watching. What else?
The fourth method, and this one surprises people, is listening to yourself.
Wait, listening to myself? You mean record my own voice?
Yes, record yourself reading a paragraph in English. Then play it back and listen carefully. You will hear things that surprise you.
Like what? Mistakes?
Mistakes, yes, but also progress. You might notice your pronunciation is better than you think, or you might catch a word you've been saying wrong for years.
I'm almost scared to try that one.
Most people are, but honestly, it's like looking in a mirror for your English. A little uncomfortable at first, but so useful.
Okay, so that's 4 methods. Is there a 5th?
There is, and this one is perfect for people who are always busy. It's called micro listening sessions.
Micro. Like very small?
Very small. Instead of waiting until you have 1 hour to study, you use tiny moments in your day. 5 minutes while making coffee, 10 minutes on the bus, 3 minutes waiting for a friend.
Oh, so you don't need a big study session.
Not at all. Actually, research shows that short, frequent practice is more effective than long, rare sessions. Your brain remembers better when it gets small doses often.
Wow, that actually makes me feel better, because finding 1 big hour every day is hard.
Right? But everyone has 5 minutes, everyone, and those 5 minutes add up to something big over time.
It's like saving coins in a jar. Small amounts every day, and suddenly you're rich.
I love that, Jay. Yes, exactly like that. English confidence is built coin by coin, not in one big deposit.
Okay, so to summarize, we have the repeat method, shadowing, smart watching, recording yourself, and micro-listening sessions.
Perfect summary. And you know what connects all of them?
They're all things you can do alone?
Yes, but more than that, they all require active attention. Your brain has to be working. You have to be present.
Not just pressing play and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Not just pressing play and hoping for the best. That was Mia's mistake.
What happened to Mia, by the way? Did she improve after she changed her method?
She did. Once she switched to active listening, she said things started clicking within just 3 weeks. 3 weeks, Jay. After 2 months of nothing, 3 weeks of intentional practice changed everything.
3 weeks versus 2 months? That's a huge difference.
The method matters more than the time. You can study for years the wrong way and see little progress, or you can study smartly for weeks and feel the difference.
Okay, May, I have a question. What's the best content to listen to? Like, what should beginners use?
Great question. For beginners, start with content made for English learners. Podcasts like this one, for example. Slow, clear speech, simple vocabulary.
And for intermediate learners like me?
Mix it up. Some learner content, some real native content. News podcasts, talk shows, YouTube videos. The key is to find something that challenges you a little, not too easy, not too hard.
Like the Goldilocks zone.
Yes, the Goldilocks zone of listening. Not too easy, not too hard, just right. Linguists actually have a name for this: comprehensible input, material you understand about 70 to 80% of.
You mean like I get most of it, but not every single word?
Exactly. If you understand everything, it's too easy and your brain isn't challenged. If you understand almost nothing, it's too hard and you get frustrated and give up.
70 to 80% understanding. Got it. That feels manageable.
And over time, that number goes up. What was hard becomes easy, and you find harder content to challenge yourself again.
It's like leveling up in a video game.
I love how you think, Jay. Yes, you keep leveling up, and the cool thing is, you're the one who decides when to move to the next level.
Okay, I think we should do our vocabulary moment. I've heard some really great phrases today.
Yes, let's do it. Vocabulary time.
Okay, May, what's the first phrase?
The first phrase is passive listening. This means listening without really paying attention. Your ears hear the sounds, but your brain isn't working to understand.
Like, I was doing passive listening during that meeting and missed everything important.
Perfect example. Second phrase, active listening. This is the opposite. You are fully focused, engaged, and your brain is working hard to understand.
So, active listening helps you improve your English much faster than just having it on in the background.
Excellent. Third phrase, comprehensible input. This means language material that you can mostly understand. Not perfect, not impossible, just challenging enough.
Like, finding comprehensible input is the secret to improving without getting frustrated.
You're on fire today, Jay. Fourth phrase, shadowing. This is a technique where you listen to a speaker and immediately copy their words, rhythm, and tone.
So, I used shadowing to improve my pronunciation, and now I sound much more natural.
Beautiful. And the fifth phrase, micro sessions. These are very short, frequent practice moments, 5 to 10 minutes, that you fit into your daily routine.
Like, I don't have one big hour to study, so I use micro sessions throughout the day instead.
That is a perfect sentence, Jay. I'm impressed.
All thanks to active listening today.
See? It works in real time. And listeners, if you want to remember these phrases, write them down right now. Pause us if you need to. We'll wait.
Seriously, pause, write them down. Passive listening, active listening, comprehensible input, shadowing, and micro-sessions.
These 5 phrases could honestly change how you study English from today forward.
May, before we close, any last advice for someone who's just starting out and feels a little lost?
Yes, be patient with yourself. You know, learning a language is not a sprint. It's a long, beautiful walk. And some days you'll feel like you're going backwards.
What do you mean going backwards?
Sometimes you'll listen to something and understand less than you did yesterday, or you'll feel confused by content that felt easy before. That's normal. Your brain is reorganizing information.
Oh, so the bad days are actually part of the process.
Every single bad day is part of the process. The learners who succeed are not the smartest ones. They're the ones who keep showing up, even on the hard days.
That's really motivating. I feel like I needed to hear that today.
We all need to hear it sometimes, Jay. Even experienced language learners have hard days. The difference is they trust the process.
Trust the process. I like that.
And remember, you don't need perfect conditions to practice. You don't need a language partner, a classroom, or expensive materials. You just need your ears, good content, and intentional effort.
Ears, content, and intention. That's it.
That's really it. Your English journey is happening right now, every day, in small moments. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start today.
Okay, everyone. May just gave us so much gold today. I'm personally going to try shadowing this week.
And I want to hear how it goes, which brings us to our question for you today, dear listeners.
Oh yes, here's your question. What is your biggest challenge when listening to English alone? Is it zoning out, not understanding fast speech, not knowing what to listen to?
Tell us in the comments. We read every single comment, and your answer might inspire our next episode.
And hey, if this episode helped you even a little bit, please subscribe to Speak English with Jay and May. We come back every single day with new content to help you grow.
Every day, because your English doesn't take days off, and neither do we.
I love that line, May.
Thank you for spending this time with us today. Remember, every minute you spend listening with intention is a minute of real progress.
Keep going, English learners. You're doing better than you think.
Until tomorrow, stay curious, stay consistent, and keep listening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.